Alright, we're going to have a first lesson on plasmacam. It's Mr. Barron, and there's two icons on the desktop. The video manual, if you have the time to go through this, it's great. It goes through every part of the software, every part of the machine, from building it to all the different commands. So if you have time, check this out. There's a lot of things in here. I recommend checking it out. What I'm going to do is more of just a condensed lesson to get you to cut your first part. So I'm going to launch the plasmacam Design Edge software. It's proprietary to the machine, so it's really only used for people that have this machine. It's not used to really do work with other machines. It's just for this one. And I'm going to pick a new drawing. By default, this cutting kind of grid here is 4 feet by 4 feet. That can be changed to 4 by 8 or 4 by 12, but that's what it is right now. It is possible to draw with this program, with some of these tools here, but it's really hard to dimension and to do complex shapes. Real quick, just do a rectangle. Where do you want to start? I'll start at 0, 0, enter. Where do you want to go to? I'll go to 20, 25. So it's basically that kind of thing where you're having to type in coordinates. And most people would find it easier to use a program like AutoCAD or SolidWorks or something else where you can quickly design and dimension parts. From a CAD program like the two I just mentioned, what you want to do is save as a DXF file. DXF would be the best format to bring in. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to go File, Import, and I'm going to go ahead and bring in a DXF file that I already have here. And it comes right in, and this has already been dimensioned and it's ready to go. A couple quick things right off the bat. The F2 key on the keyboard zooms you out, and the F1 key zooms you in. If you hold down your mouse button, you can highlight things. If I press the M button on the keyboard, then it says move from point, so I'll left click and I can move it. You can also do things like scale. You can copy and paste. You can make duplicates. So that's kind of how that works. So now what we have to do is make a cut path. And what a cut path is telling the machine kind of where you want it to come in, fire off the torch. Do you want it to cut around the inside of the line or the outside of the line? We'll have it do these holes as well. And if I go to the machine menu and I hit convert to cut path, then if I click, say, on the outside of this white line, the machine would cut that line. If I click again, it would cut that line. So it would basically cut, and if I click on the inside of the circle, it would kind of cut the inside of it. And so basically I made a cut path. But it's not really ideal right now because I'll hit escape, by the way, to stop that command. If I highlight this and I do go to cut preview, I hit start, the machine's going to basically, it's going to do this in like 5 separate cuts. So it's not ideal, and I just wanted to show you and make sure that you knew that the better way to do this would be this perimeter here would be to link this together. So if I hold down the control key and I click all this right here, I've highlighted all these lines. I can go to the edit menu and hit link. So now this perimeter is all just one thing. So it's better now as far as for cutting. It's going to cut it all in one fell swoop. So if I go to convert to cut path, I click on this. It says, hey, do you want to convert the holes to the inside path? Yeah, I'm done. And you can also see right here, this is showing the machine's going to fire off here. It's going to come in, and it's going to go down the line to the right. And it's going to end up right there. All right, so now if I go to cut preview, hit start, it's doing the holes first, and then it's doing the perimeter. And that's actually what you want. Let's say, for example, it did the perimeter first, then the holes. That'd be bad, because what would happen is that it would cut out the perimeter, and then this piece, it might fall out or get tilted on the grid. When it goes through the holes, it's going to error out because the piece is not level. So just to let you know, what I generally always do is I like to just to pick the order. So if you go to Machine, Reorder Paths, Pick Order, then I can say I want to do this hole first, this hole second, this hole third, and that perimeter last. And I'll hit Escape, and then highlight this guy, cut preview, start, 1, 2, 3. It's going around. Perfect. So that's a big part right there, is getting the cut path to work. Next thing we have to do is we have to get the machine ready. So it's important to turn on the plasma cutter. And with the plasma cutter, there is a compressed air ball valve. You want to put the ball valve on first. And then you want to put the plasma cutter on second. And if all goes well, you should have a green light here. If you have an amber light here, it means you probably didn't have the compressed air on first. I would set the machine to about 60 amps, maybe a little higher. The compressed air, the needle should be here. It should be on cut right here. This button should be on cut, not gouge. And the reason we're setting it at 60 amps is because that's the type of tips we have in the machine at this time, but we can put 100 amp tips in as well as 40 amp tips. 100 amp cuts the thickest metal, 40 amps will cut the thinnest. So got the machine on, that's good. The other thing we want to do is with the plasmacam controller, you want to have this on, and there should be this pause light should be flashing every so often. That's a good sign. If it wasn't doing that, you'd want to shut off the computer, shut this off, wait 10 seconds, turn on this button first, then the computer, and it should be working fine. So the other thing is there should be a yellow notebook right on top of the computer there, and on page 36, it's important to understand this. We have 60 amp cutting tips. So in other words, this tip and this electrode are kind of married together at 60 amps to cut. And then right here it says mild steel, stainless, and aluminum. So this is going to tell us how fast the machine is going to cut. And let's say, for example, if we're doing mild steel, if we were doing 16 gauge material thickness, what I would look at is the optimum cutting speed. And IPM stands for inches per minute. And so 502 is the magic number. If you were cutting 3/8 steel, then I would cut it at 41 inches per minute. If you're cutting, say, 12 gauge or 14 gauge, just do some math to get the average, between these numbers and just kind of figure it out. But right now, 502. I want to memorize that number. In plasmacam, where do you put that number 502? What you have to do is go to Settings, and then where it says Machine Control, you've got to get this right. This is crucial. So 502 is how fast that machine is going to move. Other than that, for this video, the height control, it can do some advanced things, but for right now, I'm going to not have this stuff checked off, which basically means I'm going to set the torch to be about a 1/16 to an 1/8 of an inch above the metal. And we'll cover more of this later on. So make sure you get the inches per minute right. Also, over here on System Startup, every time you have the machine on, you have to hit Detect Machine. It takes a few seconds. And then it should say Detect Machine Successful. Okay. Looks like it's not going to work right now. Something's going a little wrong, but it'll say Detect Machine Successfully. And then after that, what you want to do is you want to go down and go Machine and then Initialize. And the machine will move around for a few seconds and home itself on the X, Y, and Z axis. And so once that's done, you're talking to the machine, and when you hit Cut, not Cut Preview, but Cut, it's basically going to send this to the machine and it's going to cut. And what I recommend doing always is this button right here that says On Off. I recommend having it be off, meaning no green light here, and just do a simulate, often called a dry run. Just kind of look at the machine, make sure it's cutting no more than an 1/8 inch off the metal. Your piece of metal is not moving. If it is, it needs to be clamped down, and do one dry run, maybe even two. Make sure it's good. Then you want to click this on-off button. You have a green light. You want to make sure you have everyone around you within 15 feet should have glasses on. Sparks are going to probably fly. You want to have the fans on, the garage door open, wear maybe number 5 red goggles if you're going to be watching the arc. Don't watch it with a bare eye. And at that point, you have to go back to the machine and go cut again, and then it'll cut for real. So that's the end of this lesson 1. And remember a couple of things, that this computer gets erased on restart. There is an attached USB drive, so if you save to the USB drive, that'll remain there. The computer only gets wireless internet for a weird reason. And just like I said too, that it's important to if this is not flashing pause, you just want to shut off the computer, shut this off, wait 10 seconds, turn this on first, then the computer, and then you'll be able to detect the machine and cut no problem. Alright, thanks for watching.